Hi, welcome to my channel, The Daily Winner. In this channel, I share videos all about personal finance and personal development. By the way, I'm Janice. I'm not a life coach nor a financial guru. I'm just very passionate about these things and so much more passionate to share it to the world. And I think these are very valuable information that we need to take advantage of so that we can live a life full of fashion. Now, if this is your kind of content, do subscribe to my channel and click that bell icon so that you'll get notified every time we have new content uploaded. Or you can visit my website at www.dailywinnercenter.com or follow me in my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook page. All the information in the description box. Let's get started! Today's learning and sharing session, we'll talk about debts or utang. Okay, so let me start by sharing this quote from Andrew Jackson that says, when you get in debt, you become a slave. Now, it's really very true because I have experienced it, and I'm pretty sure most of you have experienced it before or are experiencing it at the moment. So when we have debts to somebody, to a company, to a person, whether it's family or friends, we become their slaves. You see, most of the time we try to please them. Sometimes we avoid them because of the debts that we have, and it ruins relationships. So how do we become free from this slavery of debts? Okay, so but before that, let me just share some benefits or the benefits of not having debts at all. And they say there's a good and bad debt, but for me it's still death. If you can avoid altogether, then so much the better, unless of course if yours the Sobel Ayala, the Lopezes, and the C's, they can afford to make debts for their businesses. That's a different story. But for personal finance, we must avoid debt at all costs. Number one, because it frees us from so much stress. It's so stressful to have debts. I know, I've been there, and right now I still have debts. Me and my husband have still have debts. Okay, it's stressful because when the money comes in, when your salary comes in, we have to budget for our basic needs. We have to budget for the payments of all these loans and debts, and then of course we need to save and do a little investing here and there. So number one benefit of not having any debts is you are stress-free and money. Second benefit of freeing yourself from debt is you can save things that bring value to your life. Like for example, you can save for a house, you can save for your emergency fund, you can save for a dream travel, cruise with a family, you can save for investments, like if you want to invest in stock market, you can buy yourself some life insurance, etc. These are very important things that we need to have in our lives, where these are the things that where we should put our hard-earned money, because it gives so much freedom and independence in our future life and in the present, of course. And then another benefit would be you can shop or buy things without worries. Now, have you ever experienced this when you buy something, when you saw a sale in the mall, you bought it, but at the back of your mind, after purchasing it, after paying it in the cashier, you experience this guilt and worry because you know for a fact that you're not able to pay your credit cards in full on a monthly basis. You have debts from other people that you cannot settle, etc., etc. And here you are buying this new pair of shoes on sale. So I've been there, and I know it's really difficult. You feel guilty. After you pay for it, you feel guilty about it, especially when you list down all the expenses and debts that you need to pay. You feel guilty about it. Okay, another benefit would be you set as a good example to your kids. If you have kids or if you have younger brothers and sisters, you set a good example, because we cannot expect them to be responsible adults if we ourselves are not. So show them as early as show them show them as early as possible how to manage finances, because it affects the quality of our life. So you have to be a good example, because I really believe that financial education should really start at home. It should really start from the parents, from the adults in the family. We need to be examples to our kids, because we do not want to see them in trouble when they grow up. With all the debts and everything, we don't like to have a child who loves to go shopping but doesn't like to work and who doesn't want to leave the house. We don't like children like that. We want to raise children who are responsible children, who are people who can be beneficial for the society. And of course, another benefit of not having debts at all, you can keep relationships. Now, as I have mentioned a while back, when you have debts or utang with somebody, family or friends, if you cannot make payment on time, you try to avoid these people or persons. In the process, we're ruining good possible relationships because of that debt. Now, let's go down to the things that we need to do in order to avoid debts. Or if we are in debt right now, just like me, these are the things that we need to take, steps that we need to take so that we'll get out of the debt race. Okay? So number one is we need to prioritize our needs over our wants. The best way to get out of debt is to pay it as fast as you can. So when you have your income or your salary, cover all the basic needs, like for example your food, rent, water bill, electric bill, etc. Basic needs to keep you alive and kicking and going to work every day, allowances. All the remaining money, pay down your debts. That's the fastest way you can pay your debts, whether it's credit card debts, car loans, or personal debts, or debts from shark loans. That's very scary, and you need to pay that down as fast as you can. And so therefore you need to prioritize. But of course there are other ways, especially if it's your first time into saving and budgeting. There are other ways where you can adapt, the other ways that you can adapt to pay down your debts. You can check out the book of Dave Ramsey, and his the 7 baby steps for a financial freedom. And he also discussed about the snowball effect of paying down debt. So he's advocating paying the smallest debt that you have. So you have to list down all of your debts. You pay the small debt first, and then going to the paying the biggest debt last. The reason behind is that, of course, others would explain that you have to pay the debt with high interest first. But it's so difficult because usually these are the debts that are big. Okay, so it's difficult to pay it down. Now, if it's so big, if you tackle a big debt right away, it will take you so much time. So you won't feel like you're progressing. So in the process, you will lose track, and then maybe you won't be able to keep your promise of breaking down your debt. So Dave Ramsey's suggestion is, if you cannot afford to pay the big debts, let's play the psychological game. You need to pay the smallest debt first. Feel that you have done something, you have achieved something. Now your confidence is built up. You're building your confidence. You can feel that you can pay the next debt and the next debt until you reach the biggest debt. Now, of course, we have to take into consideration the interest rates with debts. But most importantly, it's something psychological. When we win small battles, we feel like we can do more, we can be more, we can tackle more problems. So that's basically the reason behind the snowball effects. But go check out the ways on how to tackle debts, and then of course apply that based on your situation. So it may not be applicable to you, some other techniques would be applicable. So you have to read and we have to research about these things if you really are serious about paying down your debts. And then second thing is to practice paying in cash. Now, of course, in the normal, it is advisable that we go cashless. We can still do this. Use debit card. This is an account that you put money in. So instead of credit cards, okay? So whatever money you have in the debit card, that's the only money you can spend for. But as much as possible, or be very brutal, pay in cash when you go grocery shopping, when you gas up in the gas station, when you eat out, etc. All the expenses that you can think of, pay in cash. That way, you know how much money you have and how much money you can spend for the things that you want, and you cannot afford to. You will not be buying for things that you do not have money to pay for. And that's what happens with credit cards. You think that it's your money, it's free money, but it's not. And it comes with high interest if you don't pay in time. Okay, so that's the second. The third practice that we need to do in order to get out of debt is to live simply. Remember the saying, stop keeping with the Joneses. The Joneses are in deep debt as well. Okay, so especially nowadays, we see a lot of people posting this and that in their social media platforms, and at the same time, we feel that even if we don't need it, even if we don't really want it, and especially we cannot afford it, we feel like we have to have it. Like we have to have that new gadget release. We have to go to that place where my friend had a vacation this summer. We have to have that house, etc., etc. No, you don't need them, okay? If you are in debt, you have to pay your debts first before you splurge on anything else, okay? So stop keeping up with the Joneses. The Joneses are also in deep bad debts, okay? So live simply. Live in a house that you can afford, okay? If you cannot afford to live in a condo, live in a house for rent or bed space, etc. If you cannot afford to eat out, then cook at home. If you cannot afford to buy a new gadget, a new pair of shoes, deal with what you have, okay? So that will keep you on your budget, and you will be able to pay your debts. Another would be to you can talk to people who have experiences on dealing with debts. You can read books. You can watch videos online. YouTube has a lot of videos that can help you manage your finances, how to help you, that will help you get out of debt. So there are a lot of resources. Maybe your neighbor, maybe your mom, maybe your sister, maybe a good friend of yours, your teacher. There are a lot of people who can help you, because success leaves clues. So you have to follow those people who were successful in managing their finances, who had successfully get out of that debt journey. Okay, so you start reading, start asking the right questions. Ask and you shall receive. Okay, so these are the things that we need to consider, that we need to take seriously if we have, or if we want to get out of debt. Okay, I am not perfect. I am not saying all these things because I'm really good at managing debt. I have debts myself, me and my husband as a couple. So these are the things. That's why I'm learning about these things, because I want to be good at this. I don't want to be living in debts. I don't, when the money comes, I want to enjoy. I want to be able to save. I want to be able to invest for the future. Educational fund for my daughter, traveling abroad, giving this and that to my family, my in-laws, Okay, but instead the money is going to paying down debts. But as responsible adults, we need to pay our debts. Hopefully we'll be able to do that the soonest possible time, and I'm gonna be sharing that experience as well once we're done, once we're out of our debts. Okay, so let me end this learning and sharing session by giving this line from Dave Ramsey. It's really, really very good to remember. It could be this could be your mantra when it comes to debt. Okay, so don't buy things you cannot afford to impress people you do not like. Okay, so again, thank you so much for watching my video. Hope you've learned something, and if you want to share your debt journey or other tips that you know or benefits of not having any debts, please comment down below. You can always visit my website for more information at www.dailywinnercenter.com, and follow me on my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook page. All the information in the description box. Thank you so much. Bye!